All right, both the fighters in the ring. We'll check the tail of the tape. Alexis Arguello comes in with a record of 80 wins and 6 losses and 64 knockouts. Palomares has a record of 14-7. He weighed 141 1/4, and Alexis came in at 142 3/4. Has a 72-inch reach. He's 5'10". Palomares has a reach of 67.5 inches, and he is 5 feet 7 inches tall. And as we look at Arguello, he's bouncing up and down, a bundle of nervous energy, somber and serious face as he gets back into the ring after an absence of 8.5 years. The referee is Bill Connie.
Well, there's a very big contingent of people here from Managua, Nicaragua, to hail their countryman and former 3-time world champion. The referee assigned to the fight is Bill Connor. Jimmy Montoya is out there with Alexis. Carlos Madrid out there with Palomares, who got really a mixed reaction from the crowd here. He's certainly not a favorite with the crowd, let me put it to you that way.
No, and if you listen to what he said, he's in awe of Arguello. Of course, it's his idol. He's seen every fight that Arguello's ever fought in on TV since he was a little kid. There's such a buzz of excitement when a legend comes back like this, and the unknown factor coming in at 42 years of age, 8.5 years out.
I think the factor of this is the reflexes and if Arguello get away from the punches, but Arguello knows all the experience and all the tricks of the trade.
And let's point out right away, Palomares is a southpaw.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, one would think it's tough enough coming back after 8.5 years. You got to find a guy coming at you from the wrong side of the ring on top of everything else. And, of course, consider what a nice feather would be in the cap of Palomares if he could defeat Alexis Arguello here tonight. Being in shape, and Arguello's only 142 3/4 pounds, is one thing. Being in shape to get back into the ring, John Montes, is something else again.
Right. You have to really get yourself focused, condition yourself to get back to where you were before. Arguello looks like he's in physical condition. He looks like he's ready to go.
Well, again, historically speaking, with the big-name fighters and ex-world champions, with the exception of Foreman's 10-year layoff, this is basically unprecedented. And, again, George came back, I believe he was about 38 years old at the time. Alexis, 42.
Well, you've got to remember that heavyweights, and Foreman was very inactive, heavyweights have a tendency, like milers, to be sometimes at their best half-guarded.
There was a good, nice, straight right hand by Arguello that caught Palomares.
I don't know how good your memory is, but I was glancing through a magazine. It might have been Knockout or Ring magazine. 1977, featherweight champion of the world, Alexis Arguello. 1977, gentlemen, and that is 17 years ago.
I would venture to guess that everybody else who were the other world champions at that time are nowhere to be found in terms of being in the ring right now.
No.
What Arguello's got to do is find his range, and he's landing that big right hand.
Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight champion. I'll tell you. Palomares drives him back against the ropes. Arguello's in the white trimmed in blue. In the solid blue trunks, Jorge Palomares. And Arguello lands a right hand on him. Catches the left hand.
Alexis looks just a little tight, maybe even a tad over anxious.
He's a little nervous. It's nerves.
Well, I was never in the ring. I was never a fighter, but I don't know of a sport more enervating than boxing. I would think that energy just pours out of every pore in your body, out of the soles of your feet and everything else.
I have to tell you guys, when my 4-year layoff and come back to the ring, my first fight, I was really nervous. Butterflied, and so many things go through your mind, you know. You have these visions, well, the fight's going to go this way or that way.
I bet, John Montes, you almost feel as though you've never been in the ring before, don't you, for a brief moment or two?
Yep.
The night of legends and champions continues. We'll be back with more right after this important timeout.
Leo, who's up. I would imagine nervous energy rampaging through his body. Here they go for round 2. You can hear the crowd largely Hispanic, of course. We're here in Miami, and there's a big contingent of Nicaraguans who've come up to see a man who's not only a legend and Hall of Famer in boxing, but a living legend in his home country.
He just got hit, Alexis, with a pretty good left hand. Palomares is taking the fight to him a little bit here now. And it's important to point out, like we pointed out in the open, Palomares has gone 12 rounds with the likes of Arguello, who's a very heavy hitter, so he can take a good punch.
And he is 31, and he has been an active fighter. He's fought as recently as June. And, of course, we go back again and perhaps bore you to death with the fact that we're looking at Arguello, who's been 8.5 years out of the ring, and a man who at age 42 is trying to stop the clock and turn it back, so to speak.
Last fight against Billy Costello.
If you guys
cut over the eye of Palomares. Palomares is cut over the eye, and it's a pretty good cut, too.
And it's a bleeding cut.
Yep. Yeah, and it's in a nasty spot. It's right in the eyebrow above the eye. And it will be a cut that, as referee Bill Connors looks at it, one the corner's going to have to work on in a hurry because it's going to affect his vision.
Doesn't seem to be slowing Palomares down, though.
No, I think in between rounds, they told Palomares, you better pressure the fight. Go after Arguello.
Well, I think, if anything, the cut would probably spur Palomares on, probably thinking, they're going to stop this thing. I better go out and do what I can do about beating this guy. But that is a nasty-looking cut. He gets nailed with a pretty good right hand.
I'm surprised, though, that Alexis isn't trying to pepper that cut a little bit more than he is. He's actually throwing more rights and going to the other side of the face.
Less than a minute remaining here in round number 2. Scheduled for 10. Alexis Arguello in his comeback.
Arguello's always had that style where he just stalks you, waits, then bam, lets you have it. There it is, a right hand, solid right hand.
If the faces were just a little different right now, it would look like Arguello against Ray Mancini.
There, yeah, absolutely.
Same kind of cut.
Less than half a minute remaining in round number 2. Palomares with a nasty-looking cut over his right eye. Blood streaming down the corner of, from the corner of the eye down his cheek. Every time Arguello throws a punch even close to landing, why the crowd sets up a roar of approval. There's the bell, and that's the end of round 2.
752-2577 now.
Well, you look at Arguello, I'm looking up, and they're applying a lot of pressure. But I tell you, it's in the eyelid, gentlemen.
I'll tell you, if this cut opens up anymore, I think they would stop the fight.
It's in the eyelid.
It's in a bad area.
You're right.
Palomares unable to land a solid shot in that little look back at round number 2 against Arguello, and we're out for round number 3. Arguello trying to apply the pressure now, lands a solid right hand. Well, he hasn't forgotten how to fight southpaws.
No, not at all. He's using that right hand lead, which is a necessity in fighting a lefty. All he needs now is to follow it up with the hook to the body.
Alexis Arguello, white trunks, blood spattered now, but the blood is from Jorge Palomares, who's got a cut over his right eye, and despite the concerted efforts of his corner people, it's showing some more blood again and beginning to flow, a slight trickle down from the corner of the eye down the cheek.
Well, it'll take at least a round for the adrenaline to coagulate, but
well, I think it's going to be a troublesome thing as long as the fight goes on. That's a pretty good sized cut, and it's right in the eyelid itself.
But as bad as it is, it doesn't seem to be flowing right into the eyeball. So I'm not sure if it's impairing his vision or not. It seems to be flowing down the side of his face at the moment. If Alexis can get it to slice open a little bit more,
well,
make a big difference.
Every time Alexis throws the right hand, he lands it.
Palomares lands a couple of lefts of his own as Arguello fends him off, brushes him away. Nice right hand by Arguello.
Right hand lead looks beautiful.
Gets hit with the left of his own.
Arguello still has that nice punch, that right hand. What it seems like Arguello's doing is measuring. He's landing that right hand every time he throws it.
And another one.
As we had mentioned earlier, Palomares takes a pretty good shot.
Yes, he does. I tell you, Rafael Ruelas can hit. He can hit you a ton, and he was in and able to last the distance with Ruelas. And I tell you, the blood is flowing pretty good now from that cut over the right eye of Palomares, and they're going to have to work on it diligently between rounds.
And Bill Connor's taking a good look at it right now.
Now, it might look worse than it is. Blood flowing rather copiously, but we'll see. Forcing the pressure, lands a couple of solid shots right in the middle of the face of Arguello.
Right, that was a nice right uppercut. And followed it up with a straight left.
If that cut is not that debilitating, with each round that goes by, Palomares' stock has to go up a little bit, gentlemen, I would think.
Well, his best shot here is to take Alexis into the later rounds.
That's right.
And try not to let Alexis build up too big a lead right now. Alexis is getting hit with some shots that he simply shouldn't be hit with and probably wouldn't have been hit with 8 years ago.
There's the bell, and that's the end of round 3. He looks unperturbed and unbothered over there. Here's a look back at some of the action.
Arguello's going to walk in here and watch for that. Palomares trying to muscle him, not really able to do much.
Go, seconds out. What about this bump in here?
That replay, unfortunately, didn't show us much either.
Because Alexis' most effective punch thus far in the fight has been the right-hand lead.
Palomares is the southpaw, and he's the guy with the bothersome right eye. We're in round number 4. Arguello has trained diligently and hard, and for a long period of time for this fight. He suffered a rib injury, was going to fight back in June, or excuse me, back in May in Lake Charles.
Against the same opponent, Palomares.
Yes. And a rib injury canceled that fight out.
Right.
So he's been in the ring and out of the ring and training for the better part of this year, to be honest with you.
Comes in at 142 3/4, Tom, the second heaviest he's ever weighed for a fight. 144 was the heaviest. And again, started off his career as a featherweight. First title he won against Ruben Olivares.
Knocking out a man, one of the most popular Mexican fighters of all time, I might add, beating him. It must be noted, and you know, if you're superstitious, you probably think of this. The only time he's fought and lost has been at 140 pounds or above. I mean, he fought prior in 2 hellacious fights. One of them was a masterpiece.
Since being world champion, he had lost.
Arguello just got hit with a nice straight left.
That's since he had become world champion. Of course, little known fact was the first time that Arguello fought for a world title, he fought Ernesto Marcel in Panama City, lost a 15-round decision, and then Marcel, rather than take a rematch, retired, never to be heard from again. And then, of course, he beat Ruben Olivares for his first title.
As a featherweight.
Yep.
I got to say, I was just a kid, and I saw that fight.
Round 4 coming to a close. They've done a pretty good job on that cut. Palomares' eye between rounds. Round 4 is about over, and there's just a slight trickle of blood.
And, of course, Alfredo
Arguello,
Escalera.
I think, is going to have to be prepared to go several rounds against this cat.
Yeah, so far that cut's holding up.
Yep.
Good job in the corner.
Arguello forcing the action
All right, breaking.
as round 4 is about to come to a close. Another right hand lands for Arguello. And every time he lands a punch of consequence,
It seems
why,
like
the crowd roars, and Palomares just landed a nice combination, and the crowd that roars for Arguello went, ooh.
he looks a little fatigued, Palomares, at this point. Awfully wild there.
There's the bell, and round 4 is in the books. Miami Beach Convention Center You're watching boxing. Alexis Arguello against Jorge Palomares. Arguello at 42. Out of the ring for 8.5 years, trying to make a comeback. Fighting as a junior welterweight at 142 pounds. Palomares came in at 141 1/4. So far, a cut over the right eye of Palomares that his corner has taken great care of. It is not going to be an item to worry him, I don't believe, at this juncture of the fight. And now I think people will be most concerned about Arguello at 42 and out of the ring for 8.5 years. How much stamina, how many rounds he can go, and how much he can take.
Oh, they've done a terrific job on that cut, so Palomares is going to be able to hang in there like he didn't have enough anxiety, though, going in the ring with a legend. Arguello was off his stool very quick to start this round, but he's getting beat to the punch right now by Palomares in the first 45 seconds or so, Tom.
Palomares is a southpaw. Arguello trying to find him with that right hand, but they've opened the cut again. Right hand by Arguello brings a roar of approval from his fans in the stands, and this predominantly Hispanic audience is cheering for their hero, one of boxing's all-time greats. This is scheduled for 10, and we're in the 5th round. And the cut over the right eye is the only evidence of any damage done to either man.
Palomares having a pretty good round here. It looks like Alexis is looking a little bit more to try to measure him for that one big punch. Palomares content to come in, throw 2-3 punch, pity pat, get on his bicycle a little bit and stay away from that right hand.
There was a double right hand for Arguello after the combinations that Palomares throwing. Now he's coming back. He's getting hit.
And Palomares comes back with a flurry of punches that nails Arguello.
Right. They're taking turns right now.
I don't know if that was such a turn. He went 6-1 over Arguello on that.
And he's hit him with that left hand again without an answer. Not once, but twice. I guess all the conditioning in the world, the first thing that goes would be the reflex. You see a spot to throw a punch, and before you would have thrown it without even thinking about it. By the time you think about it, the spot is gone.
That's why I said it's interesting. Arguello about the reflexes and the age.
Stay tuned for more world-class boxing here on the Impact Sports Network.
Miami Beach Convention Center, we've got Alexis Arguello in against Jorge Palomares, and they're going to have to tighten up the tape on the glove of Palomares, who has a cut over his right eye, but they've been working on it quite well.
And in the corner of the round, there was a lot of water on the corner, so they had to wipe it off.
Well, and there's a cotton swab on the floor as well. They want that moved, and no one sees it except those of us close here at ringside. Round number 6. It's scheduled for 10. The comeback of Alexis Arguello. It's sure to be headlines in boxing. Win, lose, or draw all over the country and all over the world. Arguello's able to land that right hand with...
It was a little low blow there by Alexis Arguello.
Well, and maybe Palomares made him pay for it by hitting him 3 or 4 pretty good shots.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Nice right hand for Arguello.
Alexis is getting the one good shot in, and then he's taking 4 for it.
For a moment there, I thought he may have hurt Palomares, who seemed to be galvanized into action with that right hand, but...
I thought so too, Tom.
But we knew coming in, one of the big things here, and maybe not a good first opponent out here for Arguello, is that Palomares can take a really good shot.
Well, if you think Rafael Ruedas can hit it, I happen to think he can. And so does Freddie Pendleton and a few other guys. Why, then, yes, this guy can take a punch. Gabe Ruelas, not Rafael?
Gabe, he went to 12 with Gabe.
Oh, he got the right cross. Right hand knocked him down.
Well, guys, that was an excellent right cross. He threw a body punch to the midsection and over the top of the right cross. It's Arguello's best shot.
And Alexis,
Arguello can smell it now.
It's the body.
He can sense that he's got his man in big trouble, and now's the time to get after him.
and he's one of the great finishers. He's got his man hurt. He's like a cat now. Down he goes. That's it.
I don't
Great
know if
body
Palomares is going to get up from this one.
He is really hurt from that body punch. That's one of
That's it.
Arguello's best punch.
Count is at 8.
He's looking over at his corner, hoping they'll stop it. He's going to go on, though.
Well, he's taken some body
That's a low
shots
blow. Kind of low blow.
that have hurt. Arguello wants to obviously end it right now. Free knockdown rule is in effect, remember. I don't know how much time is left in round number 6. Can't be much.
Well, I didn't think Palomares would weather that body shot.
Only 10 seconds left in this round. Palomares could weather the storm and is, in fact, fighting back now at the close of round number 6. A very effective round, a big round. There's the bell for Arguello. The crowd loves it. But he had him down twice and couldn't finish him.
Palomares is a very tough guy.
Out they come for round number 7.
I think that's quite an endorsement to even put Palomares down on the mat, Tom, and put him down twice in the same round. I think Arguello's got to be feeling pretty good right now. Now we can see if he can follow up and sustain the attack and not get hurt himself.
Let's get the Ruelas connection straight here. He fought at 130 pounds?
He fought
Because
Gabe.
that's what Gabe is.
He fought Gabe when Gabe was down when Gabe had come up in higher weight.
Well, Gabe has never been above 130 pounds. Rafaelo's 135.
He fought Gabe for his 130-pound 12-round bout, went 12 rounds with Gabe Ruelas.
We're watching action in round number 7. Palomares down twice in round number 6. Alexis Arguello trying to finish him off and pick it up from where it left off at the end of round 6.
I have to say those right uppercuts that Arguello's throwing towards Palomares are really effective.
Thrown in there by Arguello, and referee Bill Connors cautions him about it. The crowd didn't like it, but it was a low blow. Minute remaining here in the 7th round. It's scheduled for 10.
You got to give Palomares credit. He's having not a bad round considering he was on the deck twice last round.
I think he's winning this round,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
He's not only taking some hard right hands, guys, but he's taking some good body punches to the midsection.
But I don't think Alexis has done much in this round, to be honest with you. I think the punishing blows have been landed by Palomares, more of them. And for a guy who had his opponent down twice, why Alexis doesn't seem to have much of the killer instinct going for him here in round 7.
Not at all.
No.
There's the bell. Round 7 is in the books. It's scheduled for 10.
And there's Arguello. You see him. He gets that right. The referee warning him for that low blow. That wasn't the first time. He missed a couple of them earlier on.
That's right.
Back to action. We're in round number 8, scheduled for 10. A right hand by Arguello brings a roar from the crowd.
The 8th round.
Arguello had Palomares down not once but twice in round number 6. Palomares kept looking to his corner as if he thought maybe somebody would either come out of the corner to help him or at least stop the fight. And back in the 7th round, I thought he took the play away from Alexis Arguello, and now he continues to pressure the 3-time former world champion, backing him up.
There's some nice combinations there, too.
Yes, Arguello was slipping a lot of them, though, John Montes, but nonetheless, it is Palomares who's forcing the action.
And considering he got off the floor, now this is a war.
Arguello just got hit with a good uppercut, right uppercut, and it may have really hurt him for a moment there, maybe.
You have to wonder, they supposedly, let's say, hand-picked this opponent for Alexis's comeback, because it's the same guy they held on to that they had picked for the May fight. And I'm trying to figure out what they liked about Palomares to put him in after an 8.5-year layoff.
Well, I don't know, but Alexis Arguello might tell him, next time I'd like to be in on the selection committee, because this is a tougher cat than we all thought he was. I've had him down twice. He's got a cut over his eye that's been a bothersome thing, and yet this southpaw still bouncing around and right there in front of me and giving me every bit I can handle.
And yet they must have loved something about him, because normally a fight gets canceled, come up with a different opponent. They held on to this opponent for dear life.
Another good right hand by Alexis.
Now he gets hit with 4 punches.
Just keeps rolling right back at him, sticking out that jab of his own. Driving Alexis back, who still has considerable skill in slipping and dodging and moving away from punches. But he's catching some. Throws a right hand that looked a bit suspiciously low.
But Tom, not to overstate the obvious, he's getting hit with a lot of punches that he just wouldn't have gotten hit with 8.5 years ago.
I think that's understandable, too.
That cut's again wide open, guys.
Yes, but it hasn't been bad enough that it has been that big a concern in this corner. It's a messy thing, to be sure. Most cuts are. But it hasn't affected his vision, and he's been able to fight a pretty good fight.
Not too sure, but he might have another cut, Palomares.
Yeah, over the left eye this time,
the left eye on this side. It might be a little nick. I don't know. Yeah, it is. He's right. He's cut on the left side now.
So that brings us to the end of the 8th round. After being down twice, while Palomares has made a remarkable comeback, and this is anybody's fight here in the closing rounds of this 10-round battle. Prepared to go the distance, for speaking of Arguello. All of those things have to be factored into this, the 9th round, and if it follows the 10th.
9th round.
Palomares is up and bouncing.
Well, he senses he's still in the fight. His corner's telling him he's in it. He thinks he's in it. We don't know what the official cards are. Like I mentioned, I've got it unofficially 77-74.
Got the same as he did.
Well, I think it would be extremely difficult should the fight continue like this and go the distance with 2 knockdowns for anything but a win for Alexis Arguello. And I tell you, this is going to be a very nervous spot at ringside if it goes the distance and he loses the decision.
I have to say, after 8-year layoff, Arguello looks pretty good.
But a lot tougher fight than he anticipated.
Right. He's really doing a good job.
They've got a glove problem. They're going to have to put some tape on it. They're going to have to find the right glove. It's the right one, not the left.
Palomares bleeding from the nose now also.
They're going to have to fix the tape on the left glove as well. That's hanging loose.
Get them both.
One would think this day and age of high technology, you'd find a better way to keep that from happening than just with tape that gets wet and loses whatever adhesive qualities it has.
I've seen in some parts of the country they're starting to use that blue electric tape. That seems to be working a little bit better. Of course, you never had this problem before when you just let the laces go. You just had guys lacing the other guy's face out.
That's right. The tape you're referring to is gaffer's tape. There's never been a TV show go on the air without a spoon or two of gaffer's tape being used. But back to the business at hand. We're in round number 9, scheduled for 10. You're watching Alexis Arguello in his comeback after 8.5 years at 142 pounds in against a very tough cookie. Many consider him in the category of a journeyman, Jorge Palomares. He's 22-8 with 16 knockouts. He's not to be taken lightly. He's been down twice, and he's still battling away with the former 3-time champion here in the 9th round.
He's a very tough guy. Arguello throws one shot, he comes back with 3 or 4. But not always all of them hit him, but Arguello's blocking a lot.
You know, you can't help but get absorbed into the drama of what it is actually that you're watching here. And sometimes sort of float off watching Alexis Arguello back here in 1994.
Well, I must admit, I am impressed with the skills the man possesses. He got caught with a right uppercut there. I mean, he's still slipping punches, bobbing and weaving, throwing that right hand, picking his spots. He is not wasting a lot of energy throwing punches. The punches he throws, for the most part, land. He's very economical in his punching. And he has made several big right hands pay off by knocking Palomares down twice.
Well, I think
Palomares is tough.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what you're saying, Tom, is true. That's been the key to the successful comebacks in boxing as of late. Foreman, Larry Holmes throw a lot less punches. Economical is a good word.
But I'm sure they rely on experience at this stage as much as anything else. He hit Palomares a shot to the body.
To the body again. That hurts Palomares. It's the same punch that dropped him.
That brings us to the end of round 9. There's a round to go. Alexis Arguello is truly putting on an amazing performance. We'll be back to see about the 10th round after this. Round 9.
Arguello, beautiful body shot to end round number 9, and you wonder if the round had lasted maybe another 20 seconds longer, what the effect of that punch would have been.
Round number 10. I think Palomares has got to go all out in this round, and Arguello should be ever so cautious while maintaining the ability to slip punches, move away, and throw that right hand, which has been a very effective weapon. Palomares comes back with rights and lefts of his own unanswered, driving Arguello back into the corner.
Very cautious, though, about coming in on those ropes when Arguello was leaning back there. Was content to land that combination and get out of there. Got to keep in mind, this guy's been on the floor twice in the 6th round, and he's still standing here in the 10th.
I've got to marvel at the 42-year-old physical capability of Alexis Arguello. Whether you think Palomares is any kind of a fighter or not at 31, and with 22 wins and only 8 losses, 16 knockouts. This guy's not a walk in the park, and a 42-year-old man, 8.5 years out of the ring, coming back to put on a display like this, I am truly impressed.
And if you have to make the comparisons compared to, again, the recent comebacks, Larry Holmes' first opponent coming back, George Foreman's first opponent coming back, this is either not what they expected, or Alexis might have said, hey, I want somebody tough right off the bat. I want to see what I've got left from day one. But Tom, what do you see now? I mean, where do we go from here?
I don't know. I don't know what weight he'd like to fight at. Boy, there are some tough junior welders at 140 pounds out there. There's a lot of tough guys at 135. I don't know if he can get down to 135. At any rate, his performance here tonight would certainly warrant another shot in the ring. I'm sure of that.
We know that for sure.
Of course, that's all presuming that he wants to continue. Palomares is throwing a lot of punches. Arguello has effectively blocked a lot of them, gentlemen. Backed up, he has caught some. They have not been as serious as they might have looked. That exchange right there, he backs away and he slips punches. He's a remarkable physical specimen to be able to do the things he's doing, especially John Montes with timing and reflex action. I'm very impressed.
So am I, Tom. Arguello seems to be the same Arguello, but you know he's gotten hit here quite a little bit in this fight. But then again, he's been out of the ring for 8 years, and
but he's not the same Arguello. Let's be honest about that. He would have knocked Palomares out, but he's an amazing performance by Alexis Arguello tonight. And Palomares, I think, is probably proud of himself, and why wouldn't he be, for going 10 rounds with a man who was his boyhood idol, perhaps, and who was one of the people he looked up to, along with Sugar Ray and a few of the others.
And if nothing else, you got to say one thing. He did get sharper as the fight went on.
Right.
Yes, he did.
Arguello threw one shot, and he'd come back with 3 or 4.
Well, Arguello fought a tremendous fight. Unbelievable. Had his man down twice. One can only imagine just physically what it's taken out of him and what the future holds for him. We'll be back to find out how the judges saw the fight right after we pause for this message. Let's go to the ring and get the decision. Armando Garcia, the ring announcer.
Amigos fanáticos, la decisión oficial de los jueces. Una decisión mayoritaria. El juez Rocky Young dio el combate 95-93. El juez Bill Ray dio el combate 94-94. Y el juez Frank Skilbred dio el combate 95-93. Por el vencedor, por decisión mayoritaria,
105-103.
All right, let me run down the official count for you. 95-93 on 2 of the judges' cards, and one had it 94-94. All the judges, 2 of them seeing it for our Alexis Arguello, the other seeing it a draw, despite the fact that Arguello had Palomares down not once but twice in the 6th round. So a majority decision win. Alexis is in the ring, and Arnie Rosenthal is up there as well. And let's go up and see if we can get Arnie and some conversation with Alexis Arguello and Jimmy Montoya. Right, all right.